Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. Today, on the court, got my man, Coach Rob, my man, Coach Goo. These two have never played each other. What are we going to do? Stay tuned. All right, so I got my man, Coach Rob here, and I got my man, Coach Goo here. Why am I out here with these two? These two have never played each other before. These two have never seen each other's balls before. My theme for today is most of the time when you play an opponent, league match, high school, whatnot, you don't really know what you're going to get. So what are you looking for during the first 5 minutes of warm-up? What is it going to tell you and what are you looking for?
So the very first thing is, which hand do they hold the racket in? Are they right-handed? Are they left-handed? You have to know that right away. Then as you hit with them, you look at how does their backhand stroke look? How's the forehand stroke look? Then you're going to come to the net. Do they volley? Can they volley with their forehand and their backhand? Make sure you hit them some overhead. Some people will say, I don't want an overhead, but that tells you they're probably not very good at their overhead. But see how they go back on an overhead. When you're watching the serve, make sure you're picking up how they toss, how the ball comes off their racket. Where in the box are they aiming? Is it just all over the place? Do they have serving patterns? I know I usually try to warm up some down the tee, a couple into the body, and a couple out wide on both sides. And that's usually about 5 minutes or so.
Coach Goo, what are you looking for?
Kind of the same idea with Coach Rob over there. What I do is look at what shot is their most uncomfortable shot. So for me, I purposely once in a while will hit like a high heavy ball or a slice of low one to see how they deal with those situations. Just to get a little taste of like what they feel like, what's uncomfortable to them. Afterwards, I come up to net, take a few volleys. I watch their volleys as well. I'm trying to see patterns. Do they like to swing on a high volley, or I purposely hit a kind of high, like a high volley and see if they swing at it or they just kind of tap it in. Low volley, just slicing it a little low or dipping at their feet to see if they're actually getting comfortable with it or not.
Got it. So what I'm going to do now is have them warm up for 5 minutes. Okay. So they're going to go on the court. Stay tuned.
All right, guys, so this is my first time hitting with Coach Goo here. So I'm trying to hit some balls down the middle. I usually go with the cooperative warm-up, but I want to see how, he's a two-hander. All right, so I notice he's got two hands. All right. So he's got a nice forehand there. Noticing that he's moving his feet well. He just ran around his backhand. So it probably tells me he likes his forehand a little more than his backhand. I recognize he gets sliced. Came over the ball. He's hitting with nice depth. All right, so I'm going to come in now, get some volleys. I'm going to see what his forehand looks like when he's hitting balls to me. I want to make sure I get him some backhands so I can see what I finds out if he's got a lot of topspin or he hits slice when the guy comes to the net. I'm trying to make sure I'm on my toes, watching the ball all the way to my racket. Still trying to make sure I'm moving my feet. And now I'm going to ask for a few up, make point, get my hand up. I want to make sure I'm moving my feet. I'm going to try to drop step so I get sideways, get that left hand up fast. Notice I'm hitting most of the overheads pretty much back to him, but I want to give him some forehands and backhands to see if they lob better on one side versus the other. And then I'm ready to take some serve, so I'll come back. Okay, so as I'm warming up my serve, I'm aiming for the middle of the box on my serve. Try to work a little backhand, forehand. I know he's got a two-handed backhand, so I'm trying to pick up, is he taking the ball early? If he's hitting, then he returns back at me. So that's what I'm looking for on the do side, kind of just seeing how it works. I just want to make sure I get my arm warm and that my ball toss is good and I'm using my legs as I'm getting into the match, because as you start, you're going to be nervous, so you got to make sure you're light and your feet are moving. Now that we're on the ad side, same idea, kind of starting into the body, going out wide, maybe going to try to kick some to his backhand, even though he's got the two-hander. Maybe I can pull him off the court with it. I can also try to slide some down the tee and see how I do.
I'm looking to just get a good rally in, just having some rhythm first, and then getting a feel of how he strikes his ball, where he's striking his ball. So I'm noticing he's a continental player, so like the old school days, and I'm looking to, try to test his high and heavy balls. So for me, I'm just going to hit some high and heavy, going for the top spin, looking how he receives those things. It's still in the middle of the court, but I'm seeing how he reacts to those. Definitely, he's not a huge fan of it. So therefore, during the match, I will plan to do high and heavy balls. And now I'm going to net, warming up my volleys, really just trying to get a pattern, get a feel of my hands, get my feet into it. Afterwards, I'm planning to play around with the depth of the ball to see how he likes it or not. I think during the rally, I don't think he's a huge fan of me attacking deep to his backhand, so I'm taking mental notes of that. But other than that, I'm really just trying to focus in on my net play and just get my hands warm and get those balls in front of me. Then I'm transitioning to the overheads, warming up my overheads, getting a good feel, really trying to see what he doesn't like. See if he defends well on a certain side. For me, I just noticed he likes to defend more on the forehand, so I'm going to be mentally taking notes on that, just attacking more on his backhand side on the overheads. So that's what I'm looking for. So taking mental notes on certain things, but also just getting a good warm-up for myself. So right now, I'm just focusing on just to feel my serve. My favorite serve is the wide, so I'm going to warm up that side. I'm just going to feel where my ball is, how I'm feeling, just kind of finding my rhythm, and, just really trying to get that wide serve out there. That's the biggest thing. I'm trying to just focus on what kind of return he doesn't like. But most of the time, I'm working on my wide service because it's just to get a feel of how I'm going to start the point and just have that pattern already set when I hit that wide serve. Then I'm going to hit a few T serves just to mix it up and just feel my shot and my serve just to get that pronation in, just to give him, different looks, right? You don't want to give him the same wide serve every single time. So now I'm focusing on the ad side. I'm just really focusing, especially I know he's a one-hander, so I'm going to really focus on working on the kick serve out wide. I'm going to warm up a few things over there just to get a groove. But also, I'm just going to figure out what kind of wide serve one hit. I want to switch up maybe some flat serves, some slice serves, or even some kick serves just to get a feel. So I'm going to warm up that side. But also, I'm going to also warm up the T-slice. That's my favorite go-to serve because for me, I can pull off people off the court. Especially he's a one-hander, so he's going to cover a little bit more on the wide. So I'm going to have a few serves that I'm going to hit down the tee with a slice. That's my warm-up.
Just completed the 5-minute warm-up. Coach Rob, go ahead and tell the viewers some of your talking points and some advice for them.
Well, one of my big things is I'm trying to be cooperative with my opponent. I know there's lots of people that come out, try to win warm-up. They start ripping balls into the corner, and I don't know what their deal is, but this should be somewhat of a cooperative warm-up. You are trying to hopefully get a ball back from them that you can hit. If you are playing an official match, you do only have 5 minutes. There's an umpire telling you or coming around saying, hey, 2 minutes, take your serve. So you don't have a lot of time. You've only got 3 balls. So if you're chasing balls your whole warm-up time, really doesn't do you much good. So personally try to be cooperative with my opponent because that's kind of what I'm hoping to get back from them. But there are people out there who want to win warm-up. Go ahead. You can have the trophy for winning warm-up. Good luck.
All right.
Tell that to Harry now.
Yeah, I know. I like to win warm-up all the time, and then I lose the match, right? All right.
Yeah.
Coach Andrew, your thoughts?
Just going over Coach Rob's points, yes, I actually aim for a cooperative warm-up. Like I said before, I do try to mix in some high and heavy or some like slice and lows. Doesn't mean I'm hitting for a straight winner. I'm just trying to change angles and like kind of the depth perception of what they like and what they dislike. So it's just something that, yeah, take your time with the warm-up, really focus on cooperative, but also don't be shy away from hitting some like high, heavy balls or some slices just to see how your opponent feels on those moments.
Since you just warmed up with Coach Rob, basically hit with Coach Rob for the first time. Now, if you were playing a match against Coach Rob, what would you do? What would you do against Coach Rob?
What I would do is, for one-handers, they do struggle with high and heavy balls. So for me, I'm especially going to use my inside-out forehand. I actually love it because I personally love my forehand a lot. So I'll focus on dominating the backhand cross-court, establishing rhythm first, and then afterwards find an opportunity to use my inside-out forehand and go high and heavy and control the point that way. For serves, just mixing it up on the do side, but on the ad side, I'm going to prioritize more on kicking my serve to his backhand. So therefore, I can look for opportunities to use my forehand effectively.
Perfect. Coach Rob, same question. How would you play Goo?
I would try to make sure he doesn't have his rackets when he comes to the court because I'm in a lot of trouble. There's a bit of an age difference there, and the longer the rally goes, I'm sure I'm going to be in a world of hurt. So I would probably try to serve and volley him a little bit. I'd look for the first short ball in the rally and try to attack the backhand, see how he passes. I would probably not try to stay into a long rally, as that would not benefit me. I would try to control the court with my forehand. That is my strength. But I would probably keep points to a short, nothing more than 4 probably.
4 and out, baby. Coach Rob, any final thoughts?
Yeah, definitely when you get out there in the warm-up, you're warming up with your opponent, so make sure you're paying attention to what your opponent's doing. Are they left-handed? Are they right-handed? Do they have a two-handed backhand? Do they have a one-handed backhand? Do they come into the net? Do they take any overheads? There's a lot of players that A, the person doesn't like to lob, and B, the person doesn't want an overhead. So that should tell you right away, if they don't want the lob, they probably don't have a very good overhead. Make sure when you warm up your serve, pick your spots. You don't have to show them your best serve. I personally like my wide serve, but I didn't really show it to him because I was afraid Harry was going to say, let's play, and then I was going to be in a world of hurt. So I wanted to make sure I had something that he hadn't seen in the warm-up. Not sure that would have helped me any, but that was sort of my thinking.
I'm too nice of a guy to be doing that. But
Didn't you sabotage me with a string?
Yeah.
This is NXT?
He sabotaged all of us with string.
Well, I'm not that mean. Not today, at least, okay? Coach Goo, any final words?
For me, even before the 5-minute warm-up, try to get an hour before, or even as long as you want, like 2 hours before, to actually warm up your game, right? During the warm-up, the 5-minute warm-up is just to get to know your opponent, to see what he likes and dislikes, and then you're going to play. When I was in college, when I was traveling on a team, we never had the 5-minute warm-up. It's actually, you warm up, you get your lineups, and you play. When you do the 5-minute warm-up, you don't have to worry about your game as much. You can just focus on what kind of ball you're looking for.
I want to thank my man, Coach Rob, for hanging out with me today. And I want to thank my man, Coach Goo, as well. Where can we find you, Coach?
Find me at agu.tennis. I'll also be posting content there as well.
All right. Warm up well. Thank you for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis.